last timing point, and that's a point. Eduardo Bertola might actually, if there is a red flag, join at the back of the grid, and he puts himself back in the restart at least for a decent result. So we're looking at the battle for second. This is Uriarte ahead of Dodo Boggio, and Boggio for sure is going to try and get through if he can, although he's got Ferrandez for company, and Pini's going to have Fernandez for company behind him. It doesn't quite get, does he get nerfed out? They're going side by side across the line. As they come down the straight now, Uriarte hugging the white line. We saw riders almost on the grass there earlier. Uriarte holds on for now as they come into the braking area. Boggio on the brakes, goes through. Does Ferrandez follow through? Not this time. We saw Ferrandez in race one at least, looking very good on the brakes. A little bit more reserved this time.
Yeah, and you can see there, once again, it's just a case of trying to see how you can evolve from the morning race to the afternoon race. And for Ferrandez on the 93, just not really making too many moves, just making sure he's in a position to take advantage of anyone else making mistakes. You can see there that it looked like Uriarte on 51 just ran a little bit wide. That's what can happen. It just creates an opportunity to come through. So Ferrandez on the 93, just waiting and biding his time.
Jesus Rios is in 8th place at the moment. I'm not sure if he served his second long lap penalty. We saw him definitely do one. I think he's still got one more to go.
His last lap around was a 42.3, so only a tenth of a second slower than the race leader, so he's only taken one of his long laps so far.
Yeah, I think he might well be joining the long lap loop this time around, which is this corner here. Will we see a blue bike in the background take it? Nope, not this time, so he'll probably have to do it next time around.
He's got an awful lot of pace, though. We've been able to see that he's been able to bridge that gap. So on the 54 machine, he's as fast as anyone out there on the racetrack. And that means that even after he takes the penalty next time around, he'll still be able to close up on them. You have to take that double long lap penalty in the first 5 laps of the race. We're on the 4th lap now, so he'll have to take a second penalty next time around, otherwise he will get additional penalties.
42.3 for Rios on the previous lap. What's he done now? 42.1. He was actually the fastest rider on the track, so there's no question that Jesus Rios has got some serious pace here this weekend and in this race. And if he can get this long lap served as quickly as possible, as into the pits comes the 81 of Tony Luciano. So he was in the top 10, he's now in the pit lane, and that will be his weekend, I think, run at least. Rios has got ahead now of Fernandez. He's going in for Salmela as well, that's for 6th place. So good move there all the way round for Rios. Of course, he's still got that long lap penalty, but at this pace he'll catch this lot up as well, even if he's got less than 10 laps to go.
You can see Uriarte there just running wide over the top of the curb and just costing himself a bit of time. It just compresses this group as well. But the 54 Rios, though, doing a very good job to bridge the gap after the long lap penalty, but he now needs to take his next long lap penalty very soon as well. He needs to take it in the next couple of corners.
Jesus Torres and Emmanuel Brinton have been given track limits warning, so they can't go onto the green too many times. This is where the long lap is.
He does take a Rios there, so he's taken both of his long lap penalties now, and you can see as he rejoins the track, he's given up a bit of ground there, but he's still managed to come back out in front of the 22, and the 22 of Torres has just been given a track limits warning as well, so that means that right now for Rios, he should be able to get his head down and not really have to think about the riders behind him.
Yeah, and the best thing is he's not always Boggio comes through into 4th place. He isn't thinking now about trying to get through on riders that got ahead of him because he went in the long lap. No, because he came back out ahead of the riders he was ahead of anyway. He's only got to, I say only, he's got to regroup up to the riders he was with, which we've seen him already do. So 4 abreast into turn 1, as usual in the European Southern Cup. Pini it is this time who gets it down to an apex, runs a bit wide. Uriarte, your joint championship leader, back on the inside of him. Boggio wants a lot of him. Ferrandez is coming through as well. Pini sweeps all the way around the outside. I can't believe he's going to come out there. Oh, he's still side by side with Ferrandez through turn 3. You don't want to be side by side through there. It's fast. And he gets it all scrubbed off and neatly down into an apex at turn 4. So Pini in 4th despite being up into 2nd at turn 1. And that's how quick it can change in ETC. Uriarte leading his group.
What's interesting though is Rios is a half a second faster in sector 1 than some of the riders in this group as they fight with each other, and that's why the 54 54, the blue bike, is just edging himself closer and closer to this big scrap per second.
The gap is 1.4 between Rios in 8th place and Beñat Fernandez in 7th. Next rider up at the back of this group, the rider with the yellow helmet and white bike. So 1.4 expected to come down. It will possibly be under a second come the end of this lap as we are through turn 11. This is down into towards turn 4, Steve, overtaking hotspot.
Yeah, turn 4 is one of the key places to try and just get the bike down the inside, force the other rider to have to cede the position. That's what you're seeing from Yuri Artu there as he dives down the inside and just makes sure that the 93 of Fernandez has to just be a little bit reticent to pull in, and then you just take the move. But it is also a tricky place to overtake. We see it time and again when MotoGP races here. Obviously later in the year it's a bit cooler. That's one of the action hotspots for a lot of crashes. So this is a track that can catch you out.
At this time of year though, it's very, very good indeed for making a pass. And also it's a bit camber on it, and that can help you get it dialed right into the apex, and so you don't lose too much time. Back at the front, it's swapping and changing again. This is Pini, who's held on to second place now, ahead of Fernandez. Boggio in 4th. 5th place is Uriarte out of teammate Salmela, and then it is Beñat Fernandez, who is about 1.1 ahead of Jesus Rios. David Gonzalez and Judo Gugliese completes the top 10 so far. You can see Rios, the blue bike in the background. This time it's 1.1, so still a bit of work to do. The pace is kind of stabilised now in this group. They're not trying to trip each other up as much as they were before.
Yeah, but it's because Pini at the front of the field is trying to stretch them out. He's just at his best opening sector of the race so far, so he's just trying to make sure that he's able to keep at the front of that group and try and just thin it out a little bit. So if Pini's setting pace like that at the front of the group, it then becomes quite difficult for Rios to catch up as well. He was able to match their pace, but it's not enough to match it. He needs to beat it.
Pini doing a great job. Fernandez trying to get through. These two have got pace. We've seen that before, Boggio as well, but it's the straight down the straight, 900 metre straight, plenty of slip through. We see it now, Steve.
Yeah, and you can see on the run down in towards turn 1, this is the key overtaking opportunity of the lap. You're able to get down the inside and then click off the gears and just put your bike down the inside and force the other rider out wide, and it also takes away their run through turn 2 as well, so it does give you that opportunity to defend as well.
This is down towards turn 1. What's it going to be this time? Pini leading them in towards that first turn. Fernandez comes through, Boggio comes through. We've seen this all before. Now on the run down to weaving around. That was Uriarte, who was trying to avoid tripping up over the back of Guido Pini's rear wheel. Uriarte almost hit the back of Boggio. That knocks Salmela back into the clutches of Fernandez, and now Jesus Rios is more or less back with them.
Well, that's what Rios needs to see, and he's been able to bridge that gap. He was able to match the pace of the guys up there in 2nd and 3rd position last time around, but now he's able to catch that group.
Into turn 6 we go. We are at half race distance now as well. Just a couple of novelties on the last lap. Fernandez and Pini were lapping faster than Max Quiles at the front, but it's by half a tenth, if that, more or less, so it's not going to impact on anything, but it's to show that these guys got the pace if they wanted to, and they've just been battling each other, and Quiles at the end of the day hit the pace a bit sooner.
Yeah, and Quiles has just been able to open that gap, and now it's just managing the race. But for these riders up there in the scrap per second, this is their chance to be able to come away with a podium finish. This is their chance to be able to have something to show for this weekend so far as well. And certainly for Fernandez on the 93 machine, he's done a good job in both